So Kanye is running for president, guys. And because Kanye is running for president, he at least deserves some coverage in terms of his campaign activities and what he's doing. And so Kanye went on Joe Rogan to discuss some of his ideas and to talk about his campaign. Now, they talked about a lot of topics, but one topic they started to talk about that I think Kanye gave a very, very, very interesting point of view on was Black History Month and the way that the media and society makes you think about Black history. And I think that through everything that he's saying, there's a very important message that I think everybody can take away from this. But before we get into that, my name is Greg Foreman and you're watching a Black Conservative Perspective. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and most importantly, share a Black Conservative Perspective, aka a liberal's worst nightmare. You can also follow me on Twitter at GForemanBCP. Let's get it. So take a look at this clip from Kanye and Rogan in which they're discussing Kanye's thoughts on Black History Month and related topics.
But we shouldn't have to have a special box, a special month, because also what they show in Black History Month is us getting hosed down, reminding us that we were slaves. Like, what if we had, remember when I cheated on you month? Like, remember when you first found the text messages? Remember, how does that make you feel? It makes you feel depleted and defeated. You know, it's no matter what religion you are, what we can agree on is it is always now. But now is the shortest moment of our life. It's gone in an instant. The longest moments of our life are our memories and our imaginations. Think about how long a kid imagines Christmas versus how long Christmas really is. And when you think back to your Christmas, are you under the table like Jim Carrey in Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind, like under a chair, or are you a giant? Are you a king? Are you what Black History Month has told you you are? And this is me speaking to Black people, specifically in America, that, I know people who would, kill someone or have a gun or, in their own hood and be afraid to go downtown and literally be like afraid of white people. Like the most gangsters wouldn't go downtown. And that's just a programming, but that program is inside of the curriculum. It's inside of the media. It goes to this whole idea of Ye. When people say, is Ye crazy? Is Ye narcissistic? Is Ye an egomaniac? Is Ye self-absorbed? Is Ye all these? No, Ye know who Ye is. I know who I am, and I'm not fin to bow to an idea that you want to have of me. I am going to be the full idea that God has of me.
All right, guys. So there's kind of a lot to take away there. And Kanye, throughout this whole interview, is kind of all over the place. I think that's one thing that he needs to kind of hone in a little bit. Like, it's great to be an ideas guy. Like, I'm an ideas guy, right? And as an ideas guy, I think the biggest weakness of idea guys is that they have a hard time honing in and focusing the ideas in on one thing, right? To make a certain point. So Kanye is kind of all over the place, but I feel like I can dissect Kanye, and essentially what he is saying is essentially a message of self-worth, right? And having high self-esteem. And this is important because the liberals love to play up the slavery narrative and to always want to talk about slavery. Let's always talk about slavery. Let's always talk about how bad history has been for Black people. And we never want to talk about any of the good things, right? The things that bring people together, the things that empower us. The media and the left never wants to talk about that. They always want to talk about slavery. And I have said this multiple times on my channel. I think that, honestly, we should just stop talking about slavery. I think a lot of people talk way too much about slavery. Maybe there shouldn't be a Black History Month. Right? Because in Black History Month, again, it's just another opportunity to throw slavery at you. It's another opportunity to throw certain things at you and certain characters at you that make you feel a certain type of way. That can be weaponized to instill the victimhood mentality in black people and any group of people in general. Pushing this type of ideology or language is also inherently divisive, and it breeds hate. Like Kanye was saying, you have people that are supposed to be from the hood and the toughest guys around that feel afraid to be around white people, that feel afraid to go around white people. For example, society is trying to teach us to be afraid of white police officers, that white police officers are the biggest threat to black people currently today. That's what they're teaching us, that white people are our worst enemy. This is all coming from liberal ideology and liberal rhetoric. Now, whether they know it or not, I'm pretty sure the ones at the top know that's where it's coming from. But to me, it's inherently divisive. So when I say we should stop talking about slavery, I say it because if you wake up every single day thinking about what the white man is doing to bring you down or how bad history was, it's going to be a lot harder for you to find success and to carry yourself with high self-esteem as you go throughout your life and on your job and as you interact with other people. It's going to be very hard to do that, which is going to contribute to you not being able to perform and to be as successful as the next person. If you always think of the next person as being superior to you subconsciously. And this is something, like I said again, that the liberal media and the left loves to do. They love to play it up. They love to play it up. And I personally believe they love to play it up for that very reason, because it's something that's very easily weaponized to subconsciously plant the victimhood mentality in your brain. And one of the more popular victimhood stories that is being told now more than ever is the story of the Tulsa massacre, aka Black Wall Street, which was a term that was coined by Booker T. Washington, who was a black Republican, by the way, who has influenced me a lot ideologically. They love to tell the story of the Tulsa massacre because essentially it's a story of Black Wall Street, aka Greenwood, being this district in which, black people built up their own businesses during segregation and during a time where black people were way more disadvantaged than white people, and they had way more hurdles to overcome. However, they built up this district that became very, very prominent, and it created a lot of wealth for the black community during that time, and which was basically unheard of. And the story kind of goes like this. The white establishment that surrounded the district got jealous of how well the district was doing, and this resulted in an uprising and a riot in which they bombed the town. People stormed in, tore down the businesses, looted, destroyed property, took away valuable items out of people's homes, things of that nature, and basically destroyed the district. Now, the reason why I brought this up is because every time I talk about building your own, having your own business, I believe that black people should focus on economic empowerment, building up our own communities, taking care of each other. The same way that the Asian community does, the same way that the Hispanic community does, and the same way that all the other immigrant communities do when they come over here, even similar to other communities like the Jewish community, right? They all do that. They always respond when I tell them that. They always say, well, look what happened to Black Wall Street. We tried that. White man just burned it down. But what they conveniently always leave out is the fact that Black Wall Street was actually rebuilt. Obviously, a lot of the business that was destroyed didn't come back, but it was rebuilt, and it was still a very prominent district that created a lot of wealth for black people from the 1920s up into the civil rights era, 1940s, 1950s. But what actually ended Black Wall Street is integration. And they always conveniently leave out that part of the story. Now, I'm not a segregationist, guys. I'm not. I'm just giving you the facts. But what I take away from Black Wall Street story is that there were much more obstacles for black people to overcome. We were still able to build up something like that created massive amount of wealth for the community. And if it was possible then it's obviously possible now, where they didn't need government help. All they did was they just relied on themselves. They focused on building up their own stuff. And I believe that the cheat code to overcoming is through capitalism. That's why I'm such a hardcore capitalist. And Kanye is using some similar messaging when it comes to talking about music and owning your own masters and not letting these record labels take advantage of artists. He's been talking about that a lot. He's been talking about economic empowerment. But the only thing that the liberals can focus on is the fact that he supports Trump, which I find to be absolutely stunning. And I believe that Kanye West is he is misunderstood. I do not think that he is crazy. I think he plays the crazy card because he's talking about music artists and entertainers essentially having independence. That's what he's talking about. And when you start talking about things like that, that can rub a lot of people the wrong way. A lot of the Hollywood elites, especially the elite white liberal, it'll rub them the wrong way because that's the opposite of what they want, right? This is why they're so quick to promote rap music and music that is detrimental to black people and to certain segments of our society, and that influences us to have bad behavior that's going to continue to keep us down. But in the same breath, they'll turn around and throw Black Lives Matter at you. They'll throw slavery at you. They'll throw all types of victimhood ideological messages to you in order to create this feedback loop designed to keep you down forever and to make sure that you can never rise up on your own 2 feet. That's what it's designed to do. I really believe that is a big part of the quote unquote programming that Kanye West is essentially trying to get at. And I think that's also a reason why his music has evolved to more, gospel oriented music, more music that is more uplifting. Right. And as you get towards the end of kind of what he's saying, essentially what he's saying is that I believe in myself. I know who I am as a person. And when you know who you are as a person and you're confident in yourself, then essentially the sky's the limit. You're defining your own story. You're defining who you are as a person. You're not letting the media or somebody else's narrative define who you are. And I feel like that is a big, big, big contrast between the liberal ideology and the conservative ideology. I align myself with conservatism because more of the ideological aspects of being independent. Right? Like being independent, being financially independent, self-responsibility, self-reliance, relying on oneself, not relying on others to do things for you, but relying on yourself. That's why I align myself ideologically with the conservative. And I think that's also why Kanye has aligned himself kind of in that same realm as well by coming out and, supporting Trump and all that. I think he gets a really bad rap from the liberals as being a sellout, or Uncle Tom or Coon or whatever you want to call it, just because he supports Trump. But if you actually listen to what he's saying, he has a message of self-empowerment. That's his real message. That's what he's really trying to tell you. He's trying to tell you that you need to stop worrying about the race aspect of everything and worry about knowing who you are, being confident in who you are as a person, not letting the media tell you what your history is and what your story is. Because essentially all they're doing is that they're controlling who you choose to look up to and how you define yourself. And I think that this is a strong message that I think he needs to learn how to articulate in a more concise way. And if he can do this, his message could really resonate with more people and people will be able to understand exactly where he's coming from. But I don't think the man is crazy. I just think that a lot of liberals are so caught up in this slave narrative and in victimhood that they miss the whole thing. They miss the message and they can't grasp what the man is actually saying. So I just thought this was an interesting tidbit from that interview that Kanye had. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.